Good morning. Welcome to lesson 9-2 piecewise functions graphically. We're not going to learn how to graph them today, but we're going to learn how to evaluate the piecewise function by looking at a graph. So today, before we even start, I want to make sure that we remember how to do what we did on Friday. So if you would like, please pause this video. Please pause this video and attempt this question. Given the piecewise function f of x, answer the questions that follow. We would like you to evaluate f of -1, f of -4, and f of 5. So the first thing I would do is I would color code each function. I'm going to make my top one black. Or not each function, but each piece. Make my second piece red. And then make my third piece blue. So the question I want to ask myself is, when I plug in -1, which domain is that going to be in? Well, I ask myself, is -1 less than or equal to -2? Nope, because -1 is greater than or equal to 2. Is -1 in between -2 and 4? Yep. So I'm going to be plugging -1 into 2x minus 1. Two times -1 is -2. Minus 1 is -3. So f of -1 is -3. Now I want to plug in f of -4, so I have to ask myself, is -4 less than or equal to -2? Yep, it is, because -4 is to the left of -2. So I'm going to be substituting into my black piece. So if you would like, I would write down x minus 1. And now I'm just going to be doing -4 minus 1, which is -5. Now, for my last piece, I want to evaluate f of 5. So I have to ask myself, is 5 smaller than -2? Nope. I have to ask myself, is 5 in between -2 and 4? Nope. Is 5 larger than 4? Yep, so it's going in my blue piece, my -3x plus 8. So everywhere I see an x, I substitute 5. -3 times 5 is -15. And then I just do -15 plus 8, which is -7. And that's how you evaluate a piecewise function. So we should be very comfortable with this. Tomorrow you're just doing practice with these two types. You're going to be doing 4 questions where you evaluate a piecewise, and then 4 questions where you evaluate graphically. And then Wednesday, we're going to learn how to graph. So the piecewise function graphically. So here's how we evaluate a piecewise function graphically. Sometimes you might be given the piecewise function without the pieces or equations listed. This means that a graph will be provided for you. You answer the questions by simply looking at your input value and finding the corresponding y value. So this is our graph. You're going to notice that there's some shaded holes, there's some bullet holes. Whenever you have a bullet hole, this is not your answer. So I'm going to write that in, not your answer. So write that down. Whenever you have a bullet hole, that is not your answer. So for question number 1, we want to find f of -1. That simply means we go out to x equals -1, and we look at the y value that corresponds to it. So you're going to be getting a y value as your answer. So I go out to -1, and I go down, and boom, that's my answer. So when I plug in -1 to this piecewise, I'm going to get -1. Now I'm going to plug in 0. I'm going to erase what I already have written. And when I plug in 0, I go down and I hit -2. So f of 0 is equal to -2. Now I'm going to plug in 1. Plugging in 1 is where you're going to see that issue. When I plug in 1, I can either get -1 or 2. But if you remember, I said that the bullet hole is never our answer. So our final answer for f of 1 is just +2. Try to do f of 4 by yourself. When I plug in 4, I go down, and I get -4. And that's it. So what your next task is, make sure that you write down your daily noticing or question, and then complete your independent practice, which is just basically 2 questions just like this. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email Miss Townsend or myself. Have a great day, ladies.